Reporting.
Sir, we're the one call. Okay, they have a $15.99 special unlimited. Me and my sister both got one. And then we ordered dessert.
You called?
Yeah. We called because the man told us, because I gave a plate of shrimp to my brother. He told us we gotta pay for him eating it. That's not what they special say. If you go look at their menu, it don't tell you. That's like you eating and you give something to your sister or your friend. It don't tell you nowhere on there if you share the food. Then they charge us 15. It say unlimited.
All right.
He told us because we shared food. They charged us for every person that ate at the table. You can't do that because it don't say that.
Talking about some well, I'm
You
telling you,
can't
where
do
my phone at?
that.
Because I
And
recorded
the girl behind us will tell you. You can't tell us if we ordering it. It don't say if you this only for one person. It say $15.99 per person unlimited. It don't say $15.99.
Well, what do you think it is?
But no, sir, he told us because he ate. I gave him my plate of shrimp. He told me he charged because he seen our shrimp. You can't tell me if I don't want to eat something that I can't give it to
But you guys are
nobody.
trying to play the system. I get where you're coming from.
You know, but they know we wasn't.
Okay, you're paying $15.99, so 3 adults can eat the one.
It's it's multiple things. It's endless.
15, but I'm thinking myself.
But it's endless. It doesn't say
Okay.
They limit
But what do
how
you
much
think
you
it
can
is?
get. It doesn't say that, though, sir. They should say that. I'm gonna be honest. If you saying that, you should say per person. It doesn't say per person. It doesn't say that.
192.7.
It doesn't say per person though. It just say 15. And my thing is, if he charged us for 3, he's trying to charge us for everybody at the table. You can't do that.
So you're trying to do the $15.99, so every single one of you can eat for $15.99.
The way that says it's just $15.99 unlimited. Give you 3 options. It's one thing he tried to charge us 1, 2, and 3. Carter, stop, TT man, stop. Okay, I'll take him back in the other room. Just take him back in there.
$15.99 per person. It says it right there.
Okay, that's one thing. That's what I just said. And for us 3 adults,
Okay.
we ordered the kids some.
He's sitting here insulting me, talking about we're fucking savages. We should be ashamed of our fucking selves and all this. First of all, this ain't your situation to speak on. And don't say nothing to me. Because if I'm going your shit,
That's enough. Are you being warned for disorderly conduct?
I'm strong.
Wait, hold on. I got the right to say what the fuck I want. He can say
If she doesn't shut up, she's going to jail.
Oh, I'm going to jail, but just for certain action. Ain't no fucking let it go. Because guess what?
I'm telling you one more time. One more time.
Shut up. Shut up. It's not worth it, G. Shut up. Get the fuck off me. I can say what the fuck I want. If I come in there and put my shit down and he gets to talking to me crazy, I got some right to defend myself. Just please shut up. Right. You want to do all this, but you don't want to say nothing to him for disrespecting me.
Look at what you're doing.
I went in there and put my drink down.
And the man
He came at me. They watched him.
He wasn't yelling when he came out. Keep your voice. All right, she's going to jail. Turn around.
Please.
No, get out of my way.
Please don't do this. Please don't do this. Stop. Get the kids. Take it to the car. Take it to the car. Please. Get him now. Get him.
Borders, when I talk about one female custody.
Please, sir. Please, can I talk to you? Please,
192, 1 female in custody.
Shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man. Okay? And what you seen was a clip or a piece of a whole footage of an incident that took place at a Applebee's because of a sign that Eve misread that says all you can eat $15.99. So she took it as if it was saying that if you pay $15.99, you can give whatever food that you don't want to whoever else is in your party, okay? But as the police officer pointed out to her, it said $15.99 per individual, okay? And that was the whole premise on why she called the police, because she thought the establishment was, being unreasonable by not letting her let her brother and her sister eat off her plate that she paid $15.99 for, okay? So that was the reason that Eve, the so-called black woman, called the police in the first place, because they felt as if the establishment was being unfair to them. But as the officer pointed out, it said clearly on the menu that it's per person, okay? And then you had her sister come out, irate and upset that one of the patrons called her a savage because they're trying to get over on the establishment by only going in there and paying for one person, trying to eat off the plate of, that individual, okay? And then the officer gave her ample amount of times to, keep quiet. And even her sister couldn't keep her quiet, okay? So what happened? The officer ended up arresting her, all right? Which goes into what? St. Matthew 5:25. Quickly, let's go there. St. Matthew 5:25. Okay? It reads what? Agree with thy adversary quickly. So the officer told you to keep quiet, man. You see? But this is a issue that Eve has. Eve is, loud and clamorous, okay? She wants to be and has to feel vindicated if she thinks somebody has done her wrong. All the while, she was in the wrong because she misread the menu, all right? It says, agree with thy adversary quickly whilst thou art in the way with him, right? So she should have just she should have just zipped it and put it in a bag, but she still tried to get the last word, okay? And that's the nature of the so-called black woman, man. Always have to get the last word, all right? You see, her brother wasn't saying nothing, and her sister was trying to, calm her down. But even they couldn't do anything. So what ended up happening, she had to go be put in handcuffs, taken into the car, and then told to shut up if you watch the movie. And then she finally got it. But by that time, she was already on her way to being locked up. So it says, while thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Right, so she probably had to spend the rest of the night, sitting in jail. Although it was a misdemeanor, it could have been avoided if she would have just listened and took directions, okay? But trying to be, presumptuous and loudmouth and clamorous, that ended up putting her in handcuffs. Now that's going back to the precept that I wanted to start off with in Proverbs 9 and verse 13. It reads what? A foolish woman is clamorous. Okay, let's look up that word clamorous. We go into the Hebrew, and that word is
Strong's H 1993. Hama.
And one of the outline, or some of the outline biblical usage is to murmur, growl, roar, cry, allow, mourn, rage, sound, make noise, tumult, be clamorous, be disquieted, be loud, be moved, be troubled, be in an uproar. And these are all things that she was exhibiting, Why? Because she couldn't get the last word, all right? And she was triggered by what the, so-called white couple said to her when they was coming out, that they're savages, okay? And she felt as if the officer didn't vindicate her by, saying something to that couple, okay? But what happened? That couple just kept it moving, man. all right, said what they had to say. They didn't stop and engage in a conversation that warrant them having to be, corrected. They just kept it moving. Eve, flipped, lost it, and she went out. And she couldn't even see in her rage and her murmuring that she was giving directives, and she didn't, she failed to, comply with. So what happened? She ended up getting put in handcuffs. All right. So let's go back. Proverbs 9 and verse 13. It says, a foolish woman is clamorous. Right. You hear arguing over something that you didn't take the time to, do your due diligence and read. Okay. Because it didn't have to come to this level of calling the police if you read the menu correctly and seen that it said what? Per individual. Okay. Now you're not going to try to get over on the system and try to, put as much food on your plate that you want to try to give it to your brother and your sister because you don't want to pay the additional $15.99. And what happened? They ended up paying it anyways in the long run. Okay. And I think the bill came out to $105. All right. So all this could have been avoided. So it says a foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. Right. You can't tell Eve nothing, man. You can't tell her, even her own sister and her brother tried to calm her down, but she was somehow, stoked and went into a rage because of what was said. Okay. That they were a savage. All right. And hey, even if they said that, you have to know how to take it and move on, man. But that's the nature of the woman. The woman is emotional, okay? So she let her emotions get the better of her and ended up being handcuffed, all right? Whether you agree with it or not. It says what? We read it, Matthew 5 and 25. Agree with thy adversary quickly, okay? This is the part that, you have to use wisdom, okay? You was found to be in the wrong. You misread, the literature that was on the menu. And hey, what can you say? All right. Just take it and move on. Let it, take it in stride and move on. Don't sit here and try to argue, get the last word. But that's Eve. They want to get the last word, man. So it says, verse 14, for she sitteth at the door of her house on a seat in the high places of the city. Right. You can't tell them nothing because they on a high horse, man. They know everything. Okay. They're never wrong. All right. They're never wrong. They're beyond reproach. Okay. They have it. They got everything. They got all the answers to everything. All right. They figured it out before they came to the establishment, how they was going, sort it out. One person was going to go in order and the other person was going to eat off that person's plate. Okay. Whether it was a, honest mishap or whether they planned out to do it on purpose, you can't tell them anything, even in the wrong, okay? They still try to justify. It says, verse 15, to call passengers who go right on their ways, right? So as those, Edomites presumably walked by them and, called them savages because, Esau is the true savage, but, in the condition that we in, it tells us that I have seen what? Servants on horses and princes on the ground. Meaning that what? In this current condition that we in, we are looked at as peasants, and the peasants, the true peasants, as looked at as, those being on a high horse. That's in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10. In verse 7, it says, I have seen servants upon horses. Right, so those that's supposed to be servants, they're put in a position of authority by sitting on top of a horse. So that's the pot calling the kettle black, because Esau truly is that servant, okay? But in this kingdom, he's looked at as, someone that's reputable, okay? So it says, I have seen servants upon horses and princes. Who is that? You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans walking as servants upon the earth, right? So we are in a low estate right now, okay, because of our disobedience, all right? And you see it being played out day in and day out, all right? all you have to do is just, look up and go on either any type of news site or media, and you're gonna see it. Okay, Jake is in folly, man, and we're gonna be like this until Yahushua comes back. Okay, now the 1/3, the elect, we are trying to do something about it. Turn back to the Father, but the 2/3, they're not going to get it until judgment comes. Okay. So it says, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Back to Proverbs 9:13. It says, a foolish woman is clamorous. Right. Loud, murmuring, talking, whether she correct or wrong. It says what? She is simple. Don't know anything. Okay. Except for how to run her mouth. And knoweth nothing, for she sitteth at the door of her house on a seat in the high places of the city, to call passengers who go right on their ways. Right. So the passengers was these customers, they was going on their ways, and she had to call them out. She couldn't let them go. She had to be confrontational. All right. She wanted to go in there and confront them. And sometimes you just have to let that stuff go in one ear and out the other, okay? But hey, it's too hard for the woman to do that because the woman is the weaker vessel, man. She's she's driven by her emotions, okay? So, hey, especially in the state of our women, hey, that's why you have to use wisdom, exactly who you dealing with, man, okay? Because the so-called black woman, man, she is, emotionally charged, man, especially having the back end of Esau Edom, but once this officer put her into handcuffs, hey, she snapped right out of it, man. You see, if you let the video play a little longer, and she asking she go home and why she's arrested because the officer told her because you won't shut your mouth. And then he told her to shut up, and then she got it, and she finally shut up, but by that time it was too late. Okay, verse 16. Who is simple? Let him turn in hither. And as for him that wanteth understanding, she say to him, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten is secret is pleasant. 18. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. Right. So if you continue to argue with this woman, you're going to end up finding yourself in the same predicament as her. Okay, simple as she is, man. That's why you have to you dealing with Eve, man. Don't pay her no mind. For the most part, you hear her, but you don't hear her. Because if you end up going back and forth with her, then you're going to look just as simple as she is, man. All right? So, that's going to be it. Not going to make it too long. We're going to wrap it up, close out in 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. And it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And if you get into it a back and forth with Eve, man, hey, you ain't gonna look no more smarter than she is, man. That's why you just gotta ignore her, man, and just stay away from her, as much as possible. Okay, move with discernment. All right, the so-called black woman, man. She whatever type of attention she can get and garnish, whether it's positive or negative, she'll take it, man. All right. So you have to just be sober, man. Know exactly, who you dealing with out there when you in the world. You dealing with a woman, especially a so-called black woman. Whether it's on your day-to-day basis, whether you coming and going. Hey, man, you have to understand these women, for the most part, they simple, man. Okay, for the most part, they're simple, all right? They're foolish, they're clamorous, all right? It don't take much to get their emotions stoked, man, all right? So you have to know and let things go, especially being the stronger vessel, just ignore that stuff, man, and try to avoid them as much as possible, all right? You can't avoid them completely, especially if you out and about. You may run into one of them at the movie theaters, taking your money, giving you popcorn, a cashier, or what have you. But you have to understand, hey, at any time, they can go off on you, man. All right? And it ain't nothing personal. It's just their nature. It's just how they is, especially under this captivity, man. All right? So be sober. Be vigilant. Don't look to engage with Eve, man. All right? Let her go about her business. All right? Because if so, you're going to find yourself in a deeper world of trouble than you would if you would have just ignored her. All right? You seen it. Okay? She don't even take orders or comply with what the officer says until it's too late. So how much more you, a regular Jake, who she feels that she has no, need to respect you as a man. So just be sober and be vigilant, all right? Keep it moving, all right? It says, because your adversary, the devil, and yes, the so-called black woman on this side, for the most part, is your adversary because she is in total opposition of what the word says. Although she comes off as a God-fearing woman, if you really try to go into the scriptures and break it down with her, which I strongly, highly recommend that you don't do that, because from past experience, you're gonna find yourself getting a headache, man. And it ain't worth it. All right? It's not worth it. Trust me. So it says, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And hey, that's all she wants, man. She wants to devour you. She wants to take your energy and, decimate it, man. All right? She wants to feed off your energy, okay? And you can't give her that, all right? Let her be, man. You seen it. You seen it. Whether she right or wrong, in her mind, she's always right, all right? So just let her be that way, man. Let her soak in her own misery, man. All right? Just ignore her, okay? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, which is speaking primarily of Esau, Edom, but it could come in other forms, man. It could come in a form of a woman. It could come in a form of Jake, whoever, okay? It says, as a roaring lion walketh about seeking whom he, in this case, she, may devour. If you get and engage in a conversation or argument or debate with her, man, hey, I don't know what else to tell you, just walk away, man. Don't even entertain a thought in the first place, all right? You're better off not trying to put yourself on that type of level with her. She's not deep. She don't know anything, and it's just going to bring too much headaches, man. So just let it go, all right? So that's going to be it. We're going to wrap it up with that. Pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.